are very good at raising their kids. They each spend about 50% of the time raising their kids. They
each control box operates between 12 and 14 doors. It just depends on where you're from. The thing that's really important, that's really impressive about this system, which was put in, by the way, as an upgrade by the penitentiary when they took over from the Army back in 1933. This was one of their big improvements over the system that existed before in all the cells. If you go over and look at cell block A, that mechanism there where you had to go along and open every door in turn and stuff, that mechanism was on all these cells at one time. So this is one of the big upgrades that the penitentiary put in place. The thing that is most impressive to me, so I hope I convey that impression to you, is that everything you see here is mechanical. Okay? And this particular box operates 13 doors. They weigh 250 pounds each. And if you multiply 13 times 250, you get over 3,000 pounds. And I'm going to be moving that, okay? I couldn't possibly. So how does it work if you don't have any boosters, any helpers, no counterweights even, okay? It's because they're carefully balanced and lubricated. And the lever that I'm going to use to open and close them does mathematically, if you know about levers and fulcrums and all that kind of stuff, it does mathematically multiply my power a little bit to help with opening and closing all 13 of those doors. So with that little background, if you folks would like to see the doors, if you're not too late, you can stand any place down along Broadway all the way down as far as the cutoff, and you'll see the doors open and close. Okay? If you don't want to see that, you can just keep right on going snake your way through the crowd and just keep right on going. But any place down along Broadway on the far side, you'll get to see the doors. Okay, as far down as the cutoff. Okay. So let's get started. I've already opened the one door, so I'm going to open up this other door right here, number 1, just to show you the basic steps in the process. It won't be too spectacular yet as far as pictures are concerned. I'll tell you when it's going to get spectacular. Okay? So I select the door by moving this lever right here, push the button, move the lever, and you see me looking at something in here, and I get happy and I release the button and the lever's locked in place, and that seems to be a good thing. Okay? Well, what was happening there was, as I was moving this lever, there's a little gauge back in here, it's about that big, it's got the door numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 13 in this case. And as I was moving this lever, it was moving a pointer up and down along that gauge. I stop when it's pointing at number 1 because that's the door I want to operate. Okay? Now, this lever is connected to another lever which is connected to a bar which has got teeth on it which is turning a gear, and the gear's around the round bar, and the round bar all the way down through this housing right here over top of all 13 doors. And things are attached to that bar. And as I do other stuff in here, things are going like this, and popping up, and turning, and all those kinds of things. But it's hidden, so The next step in the process, go to the second lever, give it a yank like that. That's called the clutch. And in the terminology of the day, I clutched the door. Okay? Made it ready. The third step, since that's all I want to do, I go to the third lever in here. It's called the hammer. And I cycle it. And when I pull this down, you'll see very shortly the doors are going to close. Okay? But when I pull it back up again, the door's open. And since I only selected and clutched one door, that's the only door that operates. Okay? So now, if I sort of like the next logical step would be close one door, but it's the exact same steps. So I'm going to do something a lot more interesting. Suppose, for whatever reason you want to make up, two guys just stepped into their cells and we want to close those. And suppose, for again, whatever reason, maybe go to sick call or something, go to the job. Two guys, the one in number 4 and the one in number 6, I want to let them out. I want to open those two doors. Okay? So close 2, open 2. I can do the same steps I just showed you, but a little differently, and I can do it all at once. I'm still on 1 from what I just showed you, and I want it to close, so I clutch it, get it ready. And I go to 3, and I clutch it, because I want it to close. And then 4, and I clutch because I want it to open, and 6, and 1, same reason. Okay? So I got them all ready. Now I go to the hammer, and I cycle it once. And on the downstroke, that's when doors close. On the upstroke, when they open. I've got 13 doors under control of this box. I can mix and match them in any combination you can think of. Those 13 doors. Okay? If we had time, you could call up combinations and I could set them up and do it. So I'm going to close those 2 doors now. Getting ready for the grand finale. So we're getting close to when it's going to be big picture time. Okay? So I'm closing those 2 doors down now. Get them all closed. And what I've shown you so far, you might be thinking, if you've really been with me, you might be thinking, well, that's fantastic. We're going to get to see all 13 doors open. That's great. Close too, and that's what's going to happen. But it's going to be a little boring because you have to stand there and wait while I go select and clutch, select and clutch, select and clutch, select and clutch. 13 times to open, 13 times again to close. Okay? Well, the engineers thought about that, so they added one more selection. It's a capital A for all in here. It's at the bottom of that little gauge. It's real easy to select. I just did it. But now, back to that manual thing, there's no helpers. So starting with the clutch, I'm now not doing something to one cell, one mechanism. I'm doing it to 13 mechanisms. I have to work harder. Like that. Okay? And when I push this lever, now start getting your cameras ready. When I push this lever up on the count of 3, I'm going to open all 13 doors, but I'm going to be pushing harder even though you're taking the picture of the doors opening, okay? So everybody ready? On the count of 3, 13 doors opening. 1, 2, 3. And if you're wondering, yes, that is fun. Yes, it is. I remember many years ago when I was a young father standing where you're standing, and I saw that happen, and I couldn't imagine I would ever have a chance to come out here and do that. So this is really special. They were been open about probably 3 times a day to let the men go to a meal because everybody went to the meal at the same time. Okay? That's a whole other story about how they were organized. They didn't just saunter down to the meal and be slapping their buddies on the back. There were very strict rules about it. We'll skip that part. And if you can open them all, then when they come back and they are ordered into their cells, we can close them all. Okay? Remember, this was all being overseen by the guards up here in the gun galleries, in case any of these guys tried anything smart. Okay? Or not so smart. So I'm still on all. I will clutch it one more time. And when I pull this lever down, I'm going to close these doors with a sound that I always like to invite like guests to take away with you, okay? I'm doing this on purpose. I want you to walk away from here, I hope you do. I think it's useful to each one of us to walk away with this sound in our minds. As we get back on the boat and we go back to our free lives today, imagine how this sound, every time these guys heard it, year after year that they were here, an average of 4 years each. Some of them a lot longer than that. As everybody came and went around this building, they heard this sound that you're about to hear all the time. Imagine how it would have just pounded into their head. The dead end they brought their life to here on Alcatraz. You like that sound? If you want to hear it a lot, go rent some of the early Star Wars movies. In the spaceship, when the doors crash shut, it's this sound. They came here and recorded this and use it for that sound of the doors banging shut. So you can go home and enjoy it to your heart's content. Thanks for listening. Just press the button on your recorder and go whatever direction it says.